And then the third middle split progression of how to get into it is going to be the most direct, actually. We're just going to slide out into middle split. I wouldn't recommend this for someone who's completely new to the training. I think the frog and the horse stance are really good introductions towards building comfort with getting the legs wide, the legs open, using bent legs, building strength. This progression is going to use a combination of the active, the passive, and the resisted flexibility, and depending on what you need more of, you can modify it. I like to use the yoga blocks as an arm support, but you can use whatever you have, right? You can use some kind of chair, stand, table, and then we're going to have pillows, and I'm using 2 pillows because I want to show you the example of why they're useful and what it means to remove pillows, because it's a way to get a little bit deeper and more confident into that relaxed flexibility portion. So the pillows go underneath your hip. The blocks go in front of you because that's going to help with balance. The actual split position, it's up to you. So you can do feet facing forward like this, or you can do feet facing up. Feet facing forward, you might end up leaning a little bit in the chest. It's going to be more difficult to keep the chest upright. So again, this is just up to you. It depends on your individual proportions. It depends on how your hips are built. And as I mentioned earlier, the feet facing forward middle split like this is something you're going to see more in martial arts. And then the feet facing up, the externally rotated middle split, is something you're going to see more often in dance and gymnastics and circus. In the ideal world, you can do and understand both, but I'm not going to tell you that you have to. So pillows go under your hip as high as you need to go. That might be a lot higher than this. You might have a huge stack. That's fine. We're all in different parts of our journey. So the blocks go in front of you, and I'm just going to slide out. I'm going to slide, right? Keep sliding. I am wearing socks. Furniture sliders, up to you. You don't want a lot of friction, but depending on how low the pillows are, you may not want them initially, but see, I have enough friction where I can push, but my feet can still slide. You don't want your feet to get stuck in the floor. So here's what's happening. I'll show you a sideways view after I do this set. So I have a little bit of weight in the yoga blocks. My hips are still on top of my hands, and I hit that first pillow, which is quite soft. Right? So I do my relaxed flexibility. I try to put more weight into the pillow, make it heavier, breathe. Then I do my contraction, my resisted flexibility. I push my feet into the floor. I squeeze my legs together. Relax. Then I do my active contraction. And I'm only doing one, for the purpose of time, but you do as many rounds as you need of this. You're going to want to spend, when you do a heavy set like this, when you know you're not coming back up, probably at least 2 minutes, maybe 2 to 4 minutes, depending on the intensity. So I'm going to reach out with my legs, engage my glutes. Didn't look like much happened, but I could feel this pillow get heavier. And I can relax onto that pillow. And I'm not in a full middle split right now. I may not be at that level of my training where I'm on the floor, but I can feel what it is to be on the floor, to be all the way down with these pillows. And then the next step would be, I don't have to do it this set, I can do it the next set, but what you could do in that progression is, once you've done a couple of contractions and you build comfort, you can take the pillow, very gentle, move the pillow, and now you have a little bit more range, and then you can go further down, and then you can do the same thing. And the good thing about the pillows compared to something hard is that the pillows can compress, meaning if you put more weight into the pillow, it actually goes lower. So that's another advantage, because you can basically trick yourself into going further. But yeah, the idea here, build comfort, breathe, squeeze the legs together, relax. Hang out. Try to take a weight off of the support. Can you? I'm leaning forward a little bit, but I can put more weight into my legs to increase difficulty. And then, feeling good, you can remove that pillow. You can remove the yoga blocks, and then you can get all the way to the floor. And again, relax, breathe, do your contractions. Try to lift your legs up and out, squeeze them together. Hang out, and then when I come out, again, I'm emphasizing this because it's important, I slowly Go to my butt. I gently move the legs together. I still want to stay relaxed. I still want to breathe deep. I don't want to panic. I don't want to feel stressed. We have to build comfort, so we have to turn the stress and the discomfort into something you're okay with. And then I'm going to stand up, walk around a little bit. Not too bad. So that would be one set, and I might do a few rounds of this in a session. So the friction on your feet is really important because that can set the difficulty. If your feet stick to the floor, as I mentioned, sometimes it can prevent you from going as far out as you want. If your feet are more slippery, it's going to naturally pull you further, but it's a little bit more advanced. And if you're still new to the training, you may not want to go that far yet. This is definitely, you're not going to go from here to here in one session, right? It's a very gradual improvement, so you have to learn how to deal with those sensations. But the first set I did with just socks on the floor, so I had a little bit of friction, but I could still slide. Next set I'm going to do with 2 furniture sliders. So as I mentioned, this is a more advanced way to get into the middle split. It's going to get you down faster. You just have to be prepared for it. So I would get comfort working this particular progression without the sliders before you start to use them. So hopefully I'm in frame. Got 1 slider, 2 sliders, set myself up. So look at that. Way more movement, right? Way more slippery than what I had in that last set. And yeah, I'm just going to slide out gently with control. Keep a little bit of weight in my hands for support. I keep my chest as forward as I need it to be. If I want to take it more up, I can. Or I can keep it a little bit forward, but always making sure the hips are on top of the line of the feet, and then I hit that pillow. And I hit that pillow a lot faster, a lot easier than I did the last time. Could be because this is my second set and I'm a little bit more relaxed, and that's a very typical thing to do in the training, is you do a few rounds with small break in between, and the idea is that you lower your resistance from round to round, lower your mental resistance, and you increase your physical resistance, and you can go a little bit further, right? So I'm on the pillow, I can do my contractions, I can squeeze together, hold for a couple seconds, relax, breathe. I can engage the glutes to push the legs out, try to make them longer, hold, relax, take a couple breaths. So this is pretty easy right now for me. I don't really feel any discomfort at all. So that's a good note. If you're too comfortable and you're not on the floor, that's a note for me to take out a pillow. Boom, right? So I take out the pillow. Okay, now it's a bit heavier. Now I feel more discomfort. And notice how much easier, how much less resistance there was to go down to that next pillow. So the sliders help a lot with that. But as I mentioned, it's more advanced. I would, like the sliders, for sure use them on the frog progressions, but with these full split progressions, just be a little bit careful, show discretion, take your time. Injury risk, pretty unlikely if you respect the process, if you go slow. As I mentioned, there's not, like to tear your groin doing this, for example, that would be what some people are afraid of. That would be what some people might feel. Is highly unlikely as long as you actually respect the sensations in your body and go slow enough, right? If you go, right, there's no physical structure that connects one leg to the other leg, so it's about your body's tension and resistance. And if you actually go slow and take your time with the progressions, the chances of injury are pretty much non-existent. You're going to feel discomfort, but when you go too fast, when you rush, when you do sudden movements, when you don't come out properly, that is when there's a little bit more risk. So I took the pillow out. Feet are almost coming off the sliders. I'm going to go onto my hips a little bit more. And now this is uncomfortable, so I'm going to hang out there. I'm going to breathe, go lower, squeeze, relax, make the legs long. Relax, make the uncomfortable more comfortable. Hang out as long as you need to. Don't stay too long, but once you're in, so typically we're going to do a few rounds, right? Maybe 3 to 5 rounds to gradually go lower. And when you hit your lowest point, when that discomfort is as much as you can handle for the day, you want to hang out for a bit longer. So maybe once you're in what you know is your final position for that day, it may not be on the floor, it may be on a pillow, maybe on 2 or 3 pillows. That's fine as long as you feel something happening. You're going to hang out there for at least 30 seconds to a minute, just to say, okay, this is the furthest I'm going today. At the very least, I want to make it less uncomfortable so that the next time I do this training, I can go a little bit further. And again, coming out, I put my hands on the floor, I relax my legs, I move them around, I keep everything loose. I stay relaxed, I keep my breathing deep, I stand up, trying again not to use the groin, not to use the muscles I stretched, and I'm just going to walk around. That walking around, doing these small movements after the heavy stretch, that's really important for remapping the body with the new range that you've gained. So that's a very important part of it. I know I've stressed this in every progression, but be very deliberate in how you exit one of these really deep stretches.